If you're thinking about buying a place here in Delray Beach or Boca Raton to use a few months out of the year and you want to rent it out the rest, we need to talk. Because what most people think they can do with these properties when you can actually do are two very different things. And I see people get this wrong all the time. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through a few things. One being the only real ways that people are actually making money with seasonal properties, why Airbnb is not the easy solution everyone thinks it is, and the rules that can completely kill your investment plan if you don't know about them, and where you should be looking instead so that you're not overpaying just to be by the beach. If you're even thinking about buying here part-time, this is gonna save you a lot of time and probably a lot of money. Hi, I'm Rachel Williams, Realtor here in Delray Beach and Palm Beach County, Florida, and I work with a lot of buyers relocating from out of state, specifically New York and the Northeast, and they're looking to slowly transition here to South Florida. A really common strategy that I hear all the time is, I'll go buy something now, I'll use it seasonally, and then I'll rent it out to cover the cost. It sounds great in theory, right? But here's where things start to fall apart. Let's talk about the real ways people are generating income with a seasonal property here in Florida. You really only have two viable paths of income if income is a part of your plan. Option one is non-HOA single family home. So this gives you the most flexibility. You can rent it out short term, you can control how often it's rented, and you're not dealing with association rules, which are really annoying. And those are generally more expensive. They're hard to find in good locations and you're handling everything. So option two, and what I see a lot of people doing is they buy a condo or a townhome that allows rentals right away, but there's usually a 4 to 6 month minimum and you're capped at maybe 1 to 2 rentals per year. So you can rent it 1 up to 2 times per year. So you really have to be strategic with your timing. And this is where strategy matters. So if you time it right, you rent it during peak season, which is typically between December through April, May. And this is when snowbirds are here, the demand is highest, and the rates are gonna be the strongest. So instead of trying to rent it all year, you focus on those few high demand months, and that can typically offset a good chunk of your expenses. And realistically, those are also the most months that people want to be here. So if you don't have flexibility, you're either using it during this best time or you're renting it during the best time. Trying to do both usually doesn't work. Now let's break down short-term rentals because this is where people make the most assumptions. If your goal is Airbnb or anything short-term, the only true clean option for you would be a non-HOA single family home. Once you're in an association, condos and townhomes are almost always going to restrict short-term rentals, and that's just the reality of it. Now, I will say this, I've had clients who move forward with HOA properties and they make it work. So they'll either do long-term seasonal rentals, they'll do 4 to 6 months, or maximize the limited rental windows that they do have. And they'll hire property management companies full-time to handle everything. And I can absolutely connect you to these companies as well, but you need to understand that obviously the management cost is going to eat into your profits. So yes, it can work, but it's not as passive or as profitable as people think it's going to be. Now, another thing that you need to know is there's multiple cities here in Palm Beach County, like Boca Raton and Jupiter, that there's a local ordinance that restricts short-term rentals. So even if you do find a non-HOA property, you still need to understand what's allowed at the city's level. What you decide to do is on you. But you definitely need to know the rules before you buy and not after. Now, if you do go the non-HOA route and plan to rent short-term, your insurance is gonna look also very different. Short-term rental insurance is typically more expensive, they're more strict, and sometimes it's a little bit harder to secure. So now your numbers start to shift a little bit. What looked like a great investment on paper obviously starts getting tighter. Now let's talk about location because this is another big one. Everyone says, I wanna be as close to the beach as possible. I wanna be east. And of course, I understand that. Obviously you wanna be close to the beach, we're in Florida, but then they see the pricing on the east side of Delray Beach or Boca Raton, and then it's a big reality check. So they either stretch their budget or they get discouraged. And what I usually recommend is looking at more central areas or slightly west, because the reality is you can still get to the beach and Atlantic Avenue and your restaurants, your coffee shops, everything that you need within 10 to 15 minutes, and you're still very conveniently located. So you don't need to overpay just to say that you're in East Delray Beach. So what actually makes sense if you're trying to ease into moving here? A few solid approaches. Buy something that you can can actually use and enjoy first. Be strategic with seasonal rentals instead of trying to over rent, or go non-HOA if short-term rental income is the main goal. But the biggest thing is you need a plan going in. No assumptions. If you're thinking about making a move to South Florida, whether it's seasonal or full-time, I can help you map this out based on your actual goals so that you don't end up buying something that doesn't work for you. And also, I put together a free guide that breaks down some of the more popular neighborhoods in Delray Beach and Boca Raton, including options that may work for seasonal use and short-term rental strategies. So if you're even considering this, go grab that below. It'll give you a much clearer starting point. I will also put a link below where you can schedule a call with me if you'd like to speak with me and talk through your situation. And if this has helped you, definitely like and subscribe this video. I break down stuff like this every week so that you actually know what you're getting into before you buy here in Delray Beach. Thank you so much for visiting my channel, and talk to you soon.